Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Express Pharma Nutrify Today Boardroom series. Today we are joined by Mr. Saif Mehkri, founder and director Biogen Extracts, Bangalore. Saif, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, good morning, Vivek. Thanks for having me on this interview. It's an absolute pleasure and honor. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, thank you. As founder and director Biogen Extracts Bangalore, Saif, you've had over 2 decades of experience as an entrepreneur in the pharma, dietary supplements, and functional food space. India has many entrepreneurs and companies in this very space who would, I'm sure, benefit from your first-hand experience. So look forward to your insights in this interview.
Absolutely. I look forward to this. When you say it more than 2 decades, it makes me feel really old.
Yeah, I think that goes with the territory.
It does. Absolutely.
So could you share with us the story of your journey leading to the current position of Biogen in the market?
I love this question. It's an interesting question, and it'll bring out a very passionate story about how we build this business. And I need a little time to explain it as well. So I'll start off with Jay and I. So I have 2 co-founders, Viveka, Jay and Piyush, Jay Shankar and Piyush Mohata. Jay and Piyush are my college mates from RV College of Engineering in Bangalore. And Jay and I are chemical engineers. And during our final year of engineering, we were assigned a project that was part of the curriculum. That actually got us to thinking about not getting into the IT bandwagon. You know, when we were doing our engineering in 2000, everyone was getting into IT jobs. Even the chemical engineers would, even the civil engineers would. And Jay and I had this project, and I think it was rated as the best project by Bangalore University. And we said, why don't we commercialize this? It was an enzyme extract using reverse micellar technology. You know, it was rocket science, I promise you, in chemical engineering. But that kind of prompted us to think, why don't we look at a path that's different, right? And Jay and I didn't have money. We asked our parents, they said, get a job. So, we're looking for a co-founder, and I found Piyush in a samosa shop right next to college. And he asked me what I'm planning to do. I said, I want to go down the entrepreneur journey. He said, I want to do the same. Why don't you talk to my dad? So Piyush's father was our angel investor. So in 2000, we started from a proper 1,000 square feet garage. So we had a proper Bangalore garage story, a startup, right? And when you are 22, I was 22 years old, along with Piyush and Jay when we started this company, with just the inclination to work extremely hard and succeed at the business. We had zero idea what we're going to do. I promise you that. So, at cliche as it may sound, it was a story of blood, sweat, and tears. We had no etiquette. We had no business etiquette. Everything was a learning on the job. And we managed to build one of India's nicest nutrition companies over these 23 years. Started off as enzyme extraction, got into APIs, realized we can't compete with Hyderabad and China. In 2004 is when we actually got into the nutrition space, and didn't look back from then. And we've had some phenomenal support from the Indian industry. I've always been a big fan of the Indian pharma companies who got into nutrition. And that actually propelled us in being one of India's largest nutrition ingredient manufacturing companies, supplying primarily to the Indian companies. And that prompted us to build fantastic facilities, one of which is US FDA audited and approved. We're building a 3rd facility. One of the small snippets I can give in this journey is, we used to go to Sun Pharma, Alchem, and many other companies, in which we would see Sun House, Alchem House. And Piyush and I decided one day we're going to have a Biogen house. So that dream was fulfilled in 2019, where we have our own corporate office in Pune, beautiful facility called Biogen House. I can just say that we treated our customers as the most important facet of our business. Quality was number 1. We had a zero rejection policy even earlier on. And proud to say, and I'm sure a lot of my customers will listen to this interview and they'll agree that Biogen stands for quality in terms of documentation, in terms of supplies, in terms of feedback to our customers. So we have this policy of a 30-minute feedback in the company. If anyone sends us an inquiry, we have to respond within 30 minutes. So, those early days, we were working 14, 16, 18 hours a day just to get the stuff done. And it was a lot of learning on the job. And I promise you, Viveka, I feel that we're just getting started. I think there's tremendous opportunity in India, globally, for Indian companies. And learnings is stay focused on what we're doing, right? Our core strength has been nutrition. We are very, very focused. Build a product that a consumer will appreciate and benefit from, right? So we think like consumers when we're building products, cost per unit dose, packaging, stuff like that. Even if you're building raw materials, focus a lot on quality systems, right? Proud to say that we are there in 45 countries today, and work with around more than 500 customers globally. So in a short snippet, there's lots to tell you, obviously, because it's been 23 years and this is our 24th year of operation. But this is the most interesting part of us. And Jay, Piyush, and I, even though we were college mates, we decided that we will departmentalize our work, because a lot of cross-function leads to issues with ownership. So Jay, chemical engineer, wanted to head production, so that's his role. I can smooth talk my way, so I'm the marketing business development guy. And Piyush, being a Marwadi, had no choice. So he's a financer of the company.
Financer. Okay.
And we are a zero debt, cash rich company. We valued that investment that Piyush's father gave us as an angel investor. We call him an angel now. He still works with us.
Great. So you had an angel investor. You went from a garage to Biogen house. So that's a lot of the IT story mix that you've translated into the biotech industry. So now, what's your perspective on the concept of responsible nutrition, particularly through the lens of evidence-based practice? Do you believe there's a need for standardized guidelines in generating evidence for nutraceutical ingredients and formulations? Because coming from your background as a chemical engineer and then from a city like Bangalore, which is very software based, I'm sure a lot of that has influenced your practices, etc. So could you tell us about that aspect of your business?
Absolutely. I think, one of the role models for a lot of extraction companies in India has been Sabinsa, and I have to state this, what Dr. Majid has done for the industry is phenomenal. And we look up to such a company. So I think we were inspired by what Sabinsa and some global companies did. And we really believe that the consumer should benefit from nutrition. And just to step back a little bit, right? Look at this country. It's just phenomenal with the kind of history, art, culture that we have. And forgotten Ayurveda. Right, and if Ayurveda in India is found only in some pockets of this country, right, and people don't believe in Ayurveda. That's primarily because of this propaganda that has been led against Ayurveda, right? So when we got into actually looking at building great products and doing clinical nutrition and evidencing them, we looked at Ayurveda. We said, why was Ayurveda so popular so many centuries ago? Why were our forefathers dependent on that? And we realized there's a treasure trove of knowledge that was available to people, which is lost, and we wanted to dive into that. So we looked at Ayurveda and just started clinically evidencing some of those products, because you require to have a modern language to it, right? So we just went back to the past, collected the data, started building products around that. What it suddenly showed us is that there is tremendous opportunity in the Indian ecosystem in terms of extraction, purification, isolation, and clinical evidencing as well, right? And that comes from the point that we want the product to work to a consumer. It should not be a placebo. Very crudely, Viveka, in the company, we call it expensive urine. I don't know if you want to state that in the interview, but it's a fact, right? You have a lot of products there and you consume them and you see no benefit. And the marketing companies or the extraction companies make a lot of money out of that. So we didn't want to be in that particular category. So we started doing clinical studies in India. The intention was just to focus on science, quality, safety, efficacy. And also prompted Viveka, because I would develop this product, take it back home, and my mom, she would still ask me, her son, who she loves the most, is it safe? Right?
Very true.
And so, it's not that she didn't take it blindly. She just didn't take it because I gave it to her. She said, is it safe? Now, that's the first question she asked me. And that came to us as a moral responsibility to ensure that whatever we build conforms to quality guidelines first, is safe, effective, right? And then it's backed by those clinical studies. So currently we are doing multiple clinical studies globally, not only in India, but in UK and Australia. We are starting a study in Korea, in US, and Japan. So the approach here is to get those evidencing done with health claims, because this is what the industry needs today. The consumers need to believe in the science that India brings to them. And what has changed, Viveka, in the past 10 years, I've traveled a lot globally. People would say Indian company, Indian product, especially in Southeast Asia, right? Even in US and Europe, it's changed now. People want the Indian product because companies like Sabinsa, Omni Actives, Biogen, and a host of other very nice companies today have propelled the Indian nutrition to the world. India is going to be the hub of the nutrition manufacturing, and this is happening because we've gone down the route of clinically evidencing products.
Excellent. That's very good to hear, especially, what we are hearing in terms of good manufacturing practices. The stringency of good manufacturing practices all across the world has increased. So as global regulations are becoming more stringent, do you see an increase in the cost of ingredients for nutraceuticals? Because evidencing and making sure that the products come safe to the consumer is a costly business.
It is, but when we build products, we don't add a cost of the clinical study to our ingredient. We are doing it because we are morally bound to ensure safety and efficacy. We are not a company that works on higher gross margins just because we've clinically evidenced the product. It comes without saying. If I'm selling a product to you, Viveka, it has to be safe, effective, and it has to be clinically validated. But yes, there is cost, and then the cost is covered by the good business that we do globally. We've been growing rapidly over these so many years. As I remember, in 23 years of our operations, we've had one negative balance sheet. And I'm saying this proudly because we've been backed by our customers. They believe in what we offer to them, right? And when we launch a product, the good companies of the world want a part of this product from us, from part of the business with us. So costs are there. I think global regulations are going to become more stringent. Look at Southeast Asia, right? If you're selling in Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, you can sell anywhere in the world. The US market is stringent because of US FDA audits. We went through one in 2022 in August, which we passed. It was a drug audit. It was like a drug audit. Okay, it wasn't an easy. And we received our approval or, after the observations, it was a feather in our cap. Absolutely. And then all the customer audits that we've been through, we are seeing a lot of stringency in terms of control of solvents, pesticides, plasticizers, aflatoxins, heavy metals, right? And as a manufacturing company, this is something we owe to the consumer, right? Though we don't need agency to tell us that. It should come within the company. I'm really grateful that the Indian regulatory system, the FSSAI, is becoming more stringent. They are auditing companies. They're creating norms which will eventually help the manufacturers and the consumers too. Yes, it'll add to the cost, but there is enough for us to keep innovating, improving, and showcasing quality, efficacy, and safety to the consumer.
Excellent. Thanks, Saif, for that. My next question is going to move to the fact that nutraceutical products are not casual consumables. There is a consequence to having too much of them, etc., etc. Yeah. And so they're rather health-focused products. Do you agree that there should be some level of professional oversight by doctors, nutritionists, dietitians? Is this the direction you see that the industry is moving in the future, or do you feel that it's going to remain a completely OTC product and not an OTC come RX product?
No, I definitely think we need professionals to evangelize and educate, right? The consumer is unaware, right? When you go to a doctor, Viveka, and he prescribes you a multivit which you cannot read on the prescription, you go give it to a chemist, he dispenses it to you and you consume it, right? And that's because of the sheer belief you have on the practitioner, on the medical practitioner, on the professional. And this is the same thing that's required in the industry as well. If you look at how the nutrition industry has evolved in India, the startup craze is just a very recent thing, right? You're seeing fantastic companies in this space, right? You have Oziva, you have the Whole Truth company, and some really nice companies that have evolved. But the nutrition industry in India was actually backed by the pharmaceutical professionals. These are the guys who actually helped carve out the nutrition industry in India, the nutraceutical industry in India. Then you had standalone companies like Amway, Herbalife, and other MLM companies who've been in this business, and FMCG companies becoming FMCG companies. But they're the pharma companies who are actually driving this business till now. And why that helped us also do exceedingly well in India is because the doctors were prescribing them. So yes, you need nutritionists, you need dietitians, you need evangelists. That's what I call them, right? And this can be introducing curriculums, which is happening now. Now you can be a nutritionist, certified nutritionist. You can be a certified dietitian. You have MBBS doctors learning about nutrition, right? So it's part of the curriculum too. And that's why I do believe that we are going to be the world's largest market in nutraceutical, because evangelism, the government support, agencies that are working to create awareness about the product is helping us get the product to the consumer. COVID worked like a tipping point, right? We suddenly realized, you can be wealthy, you can be well-read, educated, doesn't differentiate you against anyone else out there on the road. You need to take care of your health. You need to do it now. And we are seeing that change, a perceptive change in the Indian consumer. They want to take care of themselves. They want to learn about the product. So companies that I sell to are asking me a lot of questions today. A lot of startups that I work with and mentor, they're asking me how clinical, safety, efficacy data. And this is going back to the consumer, Viveka. So this is a really good sign right now. So the evangelism is happening.
Excellent to know that the evangelism is happening through doctors and nutritionists. So in the light of the notion that effective nutraceuticals necessitate a certain price, it's like paying for health insurance to preempt your healthcare costs and illness. What is your stance on this comparison between nutraceuticals being a kind of insurance as a preventive form of healthcare rather than curative?
Absolutely. I think just because of the wonderful medical support that we have in this country today, we are living longer, not necessarily healthy. And that's primarily because of oxidative stress, inflammation, and not eating the right kind of food, not sleeping enough, not our body is our temple. Believe in that first, right? So I believe that my body is my temple, apart from it being a chemical reactor. So I treat my body two different ways. One is it's a temple. I'm obliged to take care of it. And I'm obliged to take care of it. I'm obligated to take care of it because of the responsibilities I have towards my family, my friends, and the industry. Second, it's a chemical reactor. It's going to behave differently if I don't sleep, if I don't eat on time, if I'm traveling too much, if I don't exercise, if I have poor quality of life, right? So that basically means that it starts off from there, right? So if I want to live healthy, Viveka, and I want to live longer, I need to take care of it now. And that's what's changed during COVID and post-COVID. People have realized. My father, for example, would never take a vitamin C, never in his life, or a turmeric, without fail, every day in the morning. He goes to the gym, works out, goes for his walk, and takes his supplements. And I'm seeing a change in his personality as well. And I'm hoping this is what the world gets to, the Indian community gets to. And as a manufacturing company, it is our responsibility to bring it to every citizen of this country. Like malnutrition, right? We can go on, we can have a 30-minute conversation about what we are trying to do, build products that will help India fight malnutrition in villages, in tier 2 cities, in towns. How do you reach women who require this kind of support? Pediatric nutrition, right? Geriatric nutrition, gynecology. There are different facets that as a company and individually that we try to focus upon. So yes, today, taking your nutraceutical product and looking at it from a holistic perspective, just not your nutrition, but also your sleep and your quality of life, your exercise, is going to basically ensure you against medical issues, hospitalization, suffering. So absolutely, it's nutrition products are insurance against, the issues of not aging healthy or not aging properly.
Excellent to hear that. So coming back to Biogen and Biogen's market plan, what are your expansion plans? How do you plan to evolve in the increasingly science-driven and evidence-focused nutraceutical market? If you feel this has already been covered, then possibly we could move to the next question, because you did talk about the expansion plans. But if you want to add anything more to it?
Yeah, just a few points. Like I mentioned, one of the things that we are really trying to build is our supply chain management. So a seed to drum program with complete transparency and traceability. Anyone can manufacture products, but the supply chain is the most important part of it, right? And you need to respect your biodiversity, your ecosystem, right? So how are you able to cultivate, grow, and then extract, and what are you doing with your pollution, the effluent, So these are some things that we're really focused upon right now as a company, focusing a lot on human capital. I'm very proud to say we have around 250 to 300 people in Bangalore right now. You'll be surprised to know that 60% of my workforce is working with us for more than 10 years. right? And I think
That's a very good testimony to, both your internal culture as well as what you are projecting out to the external world, because that kind of retention policy is not so common.
Yeah, that comes also because we work just as employees in the company. So Piyush and I are just co-founders and directors on a business card, but we're just employees of Biogen. That's how we work. So expanding our workforce globally is just not in India. That's part of the expansion. I've already mentioned the third facility that's coming up, right? Focusing more on downstream. And I say that, how do you make a product taste better, better palatability, better absorption? And why do you need such high dosages? What happens if you have high dosages in terms of liver function, right? And these are you are hearing this now, right? So we want to basically tell people that we have a better delivery mechanism where you need lower dosages of the active ingredient, which basically reduces your cost as well, cost per unit dose. So that's part of the expansion as well, right? And then we're doing a lot in CSR. We want to give back. Truly, being a first generation entrepreneur, I owe everything to the world, to the Indian consumer, to the ecosystem that we are in, and we're trying to give back as much as we can. So that's again a part of who we are and what we're trying to build over here. Global clinical studies we already mentioned. So a lot of focus on health claims, safety and efficacy. So that's basically part of our expansion program going from now. I've told my team, 23 years is stage 0. Get ready for stage 1. It's going to be extremely exciting. We are looking forward to the next 20 years of building this business in India.
Excellent to know that you are getting into formulation development and better drug delivery mechanisms, etc., so that the load on the liver reduces. What about the advent of artificial intelligence? Everybody's talking about AI. What impact do you anticipate it will have on your industry?
Absolutely. I think that's such an interesting question, and thanks for asking that. I think just in terms of drug interactions, Viveka, and in terms of what's happening with the dosages, right? We'll have access to better design of products, better, faster design, and then how does one ingredient interact with the other? So we are looking forward. It's very initial in nutrition right now. We're excited with what is being built out there. There are a few platforms that have been built, including Nutrify Genie, which we are excited to be a part of. Like I said, early stage, but tremendous opportunity just in us building products that are safer, more effective, and understanding drug interactions. One of the things that, Viveka, we really need to do in the nutrition industry is understand mechanism of action. That's something that we are doing a lot right now. In the drug world, it's very well understood, very well established, but food is very different. Functional food ingredients are very, very different, right? And you're talking about synergistic blends over here. So we need to exactly understand. We've gone down that route, Viveka, and using AI and trying to understand how a particular product, for example, helps in alleviating pain. And we are super excited about that. So understanding mechanism of action, drug interaction, dosages, that's where we see the usefulness of AI, especially on the product design.
Okay, it's very interesting that nutraceuticals has grown from a very ancient science, which is Ayurveda and food sciences, etc., something that we're using in daily life.
Yeah.
And our ancestors have been using it, and it's going to the next level with a very new age science like AI. Yeah. So the combination of the two is going to give us the best of both worlds, hopefully. Absolutely. Best of both science systems, hopefully. So to end this interview, thanks for your insights so far. But we want to let you go with 3 pieces of advice, or if you like, business mantras that you as a mentor would like to give to future entrepreneurs starting out in the ingredient sector, right, per se.
Right. So when I work with a startup, right, or if I'm mentoring a student or a founder of a company, the first thing I tell them is to get a co-founder. Viveka, I promise you that Piyush and Jay are those 2 co-founders that have helped me succeed in my business. Biogen is where it is because we've had that wonderful relationship as 3 friends who became co-founders. So first thing is get a co-founder for yourself. That's the first thing. You cannot do everything. You cannot micromanage in this world. You have to you have to learn to delegate. You have to build a team. So start off with getting a co-founder and learning to manage, build, delegate. That's the first thing.
And that takes a
Second,
lot of trust, I believe, between the co-founders. I mean, because you all were friends, it helped, but I mean, you need a co-founder whom you can trust.
It does. It's primarily because we believe the company owns us, Viveka. I've never worked as a owner of the company. I don't have that attitude of working as the company. I am who I am because of the company. It's a fact, right? And who I am, even though I may be in a very small way the face of the company, the amount of work that Piyush and Jay do, and I acknowledge that, and the kind of relationship we have is what has gotten us over here, right? A lot of people initially told us that 3 friends from school cannot exist. They cannot be business partners. We wanted to prove them wrong. And this is the path we chose. We departmentalized work. We said, we're never going to do cross-function. We're never going to get our egos in between. We do argue, we do fight, we have these conversations where everything is about the company. The company is first for us. So that's the first mantra, learning mantra, right? Second is hard work. Never work for money, right? I even today, I really don't care what's in my bank. Or I promise you, I don't even know what's in the company's account right now. It doesn't matter to me. I just believe that if you put in that hard work, right, and you want your ecosystem to succeed, that means your stakeholders, right? I want my stakeholders to succeed. I want my stakeholders to do well, whether it's a commission agent or a trading company, my partner, my employees, the belief that I will get in helping them succeed is what allows me to succeed, right? So never focus on wealth. Wealth creation is a byproduct of hard work and also a byproduct of getting your ecosystem and your stakeholders to succeed. That's my second mantra. I've never looked at a number and gone after that number. I've looked at how do I improve the quality of life of my employees? What can I do for my agents, my distributors? And if they do well, you automatically do well. Automatically, you create wealth, right? So that's the second mantra. Right? It's third is our work-life balance. I didn't have my 20s and my 30s, and I'm having a part of my 40s right now. So I tell people, yes, it's important to put in your hard work and succeed, but there should be a balance. I think Piyush Jay and I gave our 20s and our 30s to the company, right? And there's no regret there, Viveka. But I do believe that if I have a learning, I tell people today, learn how to balance your life better.
I think in your nutraceutical business, that's what Biogen is helping people do, learning to balance, your work-life balance, find a better work-life balance.
Yes. Yeah, we tell people choose good health. Our mantra is choose good health. If you look at Biogen, it is choose good health. We want consumers or customers to allow the consumers to choose good health by utilizing our systems, our clinical studies, our products, and us as people. I think we are as a company very empathetic.
Excellent. So Saif, thanks so much for your insights today, for spending so much time sharing your insights, both as a business, how you've grown Biogen, as well as how you've grown as a person, sharing your 3 mantras with us. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with Express Pharma and the Nutrify Today Boardroom series.
Thank you, Viveka. I appreciate this opportunity and for allowing me to tell, we've been a very under the radar, quiet company, and I want to remain like that. But obviously we owe it to the industry as well. And I just wanted to share what we've done and, what we're hoping to build out there. Like I said, we have lots to do. And I'm hoping that our community of nutrition manufacturers propels India to being the top country in this segment.
On that, thank you so much and all the best to you.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you.